Okay, we're going to move into solving inequalities. These solving inequalities will go in 4 different groups. The first group is solving a simple one-step inequality, which should, and after the first level 1 today, you will see that there is a catch in there. There's one little type that is a little bit trickier than the rest. Then to get a level 2, we are going to do a 2-step equation, and it is going to include multiplying or dividing by a negative, which is the catch from this one step. Then to get a level 3, you need to be able to solve multi-step inequalities. They could have variables on both sides. They could have parentheses. They could have combining like terms. So that is a big group of things in our level 3. And then our level 4 is going to be word problems or story problems. Now, just because you can write the word problem does not mean that you can get a level 4, because you also need to be able to do a level 3. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to pretend, zoom in a little bit here, we're going to pretend that this first equation, this first inequality actually has an equal sign. If this had an equal sign in it and we were just solving it like normal, how would I get rid of this positive 1.3? The opposite of plus 1.3 is going to be minus 1.3. So I'm going to do that to both sides. Okay. You are still allowed to put that line down the middle, except for this time it won't be down the middle of the equal sign. It'll be down the middle of the inequality symbol. So 2.7 minus 1.3 is 1.4. Keep your same symbol and then bring down this x. Hopefully you notice that that x is not on the left where it should be. It's not in VIN form. It's not variable inequality symbol number. So we've got to flip-flop this around. To change this, I'm going to put the x on the left. I'm going to put the number on the right. And over here, this arrowhead, or this inequality symbol, is pointing at the x. So over here, it needs to point at the x as well. So this is in VIN form because it goes variable inequality number. We're good. In between the 1 and the 2, I'm going to do an open circle here. And then because it's in VIN form, I'm going to point it in the direction of my symbol, less than. Okay. Second one. How do I get rid of 7 times x? I'm going to divide by 7. So x is less than or equal to, and then that will be negative 3. This is already in VIN form, variable inequality number, so I'm good to go. I can go ahead and just graph it. When I graph this, I want to put a circle at negative 3. This one's going to be a closed circle at negative 3. And because it's in VIN form, I can just go ahead and point my arrow to the left. Okay, what about this fraction one? To get rid of this divide by 4, I'm going to multiply by 4 on both sides. 2 times 4 is 8. Keep the same symbol. X. This is not in VIN form, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it. To switch it to VIN form, I put the X on the left, number on the right. This symbol is opening up to the X, or it's pointing at the 8, so I need to make sure it is doing the same thing when I switch it around, so it'll flip-flop. So 8 is going to have a filled-in circle at 8. I'm going to point my arrow to the right. The last one here has a fraction I have to get rid of. I have to undo 3 over 2 times y. So to undo a fraction, you're going to take that fraction and you're going to flip it upside down. So this 2 over 3 is going to be, or this 3 over 2, sorry, is going to become 2 over 3 on both sides. Those cancel each other out. Y greater than, then we're going to go ahead and multiply this out. Negative 9 times 2 is negative 18. Negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. If you wanted to type that into your calculator to get that answer, that is negative 9 times 2 and then divide 3. That's how we got the negative 6. This one's going to be an open circle at 6. Open up that circle, leave it open at 6. Arrow to the right. Notice it doesn't matter how long your arrow is. I've had that question a couple of times, so I'll just address that here. This one has a short arrow. This one has a long arrow. It does not matter. What matters is the circle here is open. The circle here is filled in, and it matters what direction the arrow is going to. Okay, so here's the added little part of this. It becomes different when we are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Okay, so we're going to fill this in. When we multiply or divide by a negative number on our example 2, what is going to happen? The inequality symbol will actually flip around. It's going to change direction. So you can write that however you want. You can write flip, change direction, turn around, whatever you want to write there. Whatever it would make you change the way that that symbol looks. Okay, so let's actually see some examples of when we would need to flip the symbol. Okay, the first one, example E, says negative 4z is less than negative 16. We should know that to get rid of the negative 4, I'm going to have to divide both sides by negative 4. Because this number that you wrote down here is a negative, this number is a negative. It does not matter at all that the 16 is a negative. That has nothing to do with whether or not this symbol will switch or not. It has everything to do with the number that you are dividing by. So this negative 4 that you put down there, that means the symbol is going to switch directions. Okay, then we're actually going to do it. The 4's cancel out over here, so z. Negative 16 divided by negative 4 is a positive 4. Okay. Second one. This time we're not going to be dividing by a negative. We have to actually multiply by a negative to get rid of it. It currently says x divided by negative 2. So we are going to times by negative 2 to get rid of that on both sides. So when I write times negative 2 times negative 2, that symbol, the number I wrote down, is negative. So this symbol is going to change from a greater than symbol to a less than symbol. What if it had an equal to underneath? The equal to that would be underneath the original problem would still be underneath the new problem or the new answer. Okay, then I go ahead and do it. So z here, and then over here is negative 22. And even though this 11 was not negative, that has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with what number you are multiplying or dividing by. And if that number is a negative, that's when you flip. Your practice problems are on page 9. So if you flip the page over to page 9, problems 1 through 13.